All right, good evening. This would definitely be the final basketball show, uh, college basketball show of the year. Uh, it's a national championship game, Gonzaga Baylor. Right now, I'm joined by Right Cape, and we'll have probably some other cast of characters coming on in a short time to talk about the game and just give a little bit of insights. But before we talk about this game, what do you think about that game Saturday, UCLA Gonzaga?
It was amazing. It's a fun game to watch.
Yeah, I'm a little bit older than you, and I don't. But was that the best basketball game you've seen?
I mean, as a Villanova fan,
No.
Villanova UNC championships is number one for me. But yeah, it's right up there with Christian Laettner. It was a great game.
Yeah. Greg, thanks for joining. We were just talking a little bit about that game Saturday. What were your thoughts about that game?
Unbelievable, right? I mean, it has to be one of the better games I've ever seen for a college basketball tournament game. Um, you know, I don't think I couldn't believe how well UCLA played. To be honest, it's just unbelievable. They shot the ball lights out, played almost like Charles Barkley said, a perfect game, and still came up short. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I thought it was definitely one of probably the best games I've seen. Maybe yeah, I would have to rank it above the Leitner game because it was Leitner. But yeah, I mean, Bowser would understand this, but I was when the end of the regulation when Jujang drove the lane and I heard the whistle blow. I'll admit it. I had the beer bottle in hand and the arm cocked, and I was ready to throw it at something if they would have called a block on that one. But luckily, I saved a TV or a window or something on that one. But yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, I mean, UCLA just played, you know,
A great
like you
game.
said, almost a perfect game.
And even still, like the game was never really out of reach for Gonzaga, right? Like even with how good UCLA was playing, like dropping every shot, they still were always within striking distance. So I mean, I feel like we got the matchup here that everyone wanted. So it's very rare. I think it was you, Rai, saying that it's only happened nine. This is the ninth time
Yeah,
the
nine
number one,
times.
two,
1 and 2 seed have met in a championship game.
and it's the first time we've had an undefeated team since like what 1972 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Like in the championship game,
Yeah.
Hmm.
When's the last
76,
team? 76.
76.
Okay.
That,
I
that,
mean,
that,
all I know is I wasn't alive.
Bobby Knight.
I wasn't either.
I
That
watched
was
that.
Bobby Knight. Bobby
I,
Knight won that.
I saw that game. Yeah.
This was before or after he threw the chair.
Way before. I think
It's
that's
funny. You do. It's funny that you throw the chair, and I know him for that, and I don't know him for an undefeated season.
yeah. I mean, there's a guy talking about that today. You look at that team, and who the people that went pro off of that team. I think the guy that you could say had a decent. I think he played on that team. I'm not 100% sure. Was Quinn Buckner?
Oh wow. Yeah.
I mean that Kent Benson was their center, big 6'11" white guy. Scott May. So you guys don't know these guys. He was number one draft pick by the
No.
Bulls, who stunk. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was it's just for
They're
Brandon
a good
basketball.
team, though. I mean, if you're
Yeah,
just a good team, especially back then, it probably prevailed more times than not. Just having chemistry.
yeah. Well, all right. Well, let's jump forward. What are you guys' thoughts on this game tonight?
So I'm all over Gonzaga. Gonzaga's been the best team all season. The whole season we always said who could beat Gonzaga? Nobody's going to beat Gonzaga, and here we are. Gonzaga hasn't lost a game.
Did
They've
you bet
really,
them?
yeah, I bet them. I'm on Gonzaga.
Okay. Do you like them every which way, like team total, first half?
Yeah, I
whole
think
game?
they're a complete team. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but they covered 4 or 5, whatever anybody got.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. It's hard for me to disagree with you. I have to say, all along I've liked them, but as we've gotten closer to game time and some more, whatever you want to say, information and stuff, services, I've started to like Baylor more and more, just because. I mean, we'll see how they come out the gates, because I think it'll be very telling on the pace, because they set such a high total that they're just basically expecting Baylor to come in and just run with them and shoot lights out. So, I mean, I have a hard time believing the game goes down like that, to be honest. Like I just can't see it being that type of game. I think there's going to be a lot of pressure, a lot of like situations where the game kind of gets slowed down. Do you guys see it hitting that 160?
I think it's high total.
Yeah.
I don't know. Championship games do like to go over, and I think Gonzaga is going to go at the pace they want to go at. If Baylor's not sinking their threes, then Gonzaga is going to get the rebounds, and they're going to transition real quick, and all of a sudden they could be up by 10, 12, and
Yeah,
this
I
game
mean,
gets out of hand.
I know Legion was saying that he thinks that Baylor would beat them up a little bit more down low, but I think that, I agree with that. Like, I think Gonzaga is actually going to be able to get their share of the defensive rebounds if Baylor's not hitting those threes, because they're going to give them those open threes. They're going to make them.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's a couple of things I want to look at early. One, is Baylor making their threes, and two, I want to see how Kispert's shooting, because he had a bad game in the semifinals.
Yeah. I mean, do you think Baylor has a lot of guys, so like, they're gonna see if Butler's hot. If Butler's hitting his threes, they'll let him keep shooting. If not, they're gonna let the other guys, Teague and Mitchell, are obviously gonna jack some, and then they got guys off the bench they can bring. So they have a lot
I
of guys.
think Baylor definitely has a better bench. They have more depth.
But you can't afford to like spend half a game like they have at times during the season to get hot. You know what I mean? Like, and so the thing about Baylor is, I mean, last year I had a ton of futures on both them and Gonzaga at really good odds at like 15 to 20 to 1. And, it's basically the same exact Baylor team as it was last year for the most part. And it's hard for me, like, why wouldn't I just be all over Baylor? I guess because you saw throughout what happened this year that Gonzaga's just slayed like any competition, like anybody they've played. They've just been on cruise control, it seems like. So, I mean, it's just hard to see them. I mean, if you really dig deep into it, like matchup wise, like, do you think like how's Vital gonna match up against Teme down low? What's up, Bowser?
Gentlemen, how we doing?
The Gonzaga man is in the house.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Minus 3.5. That's what I took him at.
You like that? That's a good number though for this type of game.
Yeah, I bought the point though. I paid a little bit for it, but I really like the 3.5 number.
It's hard not to.
So I'm glad to see you made it through Saturday night's game. If you're a little bit older, I might have worried about you.
Look, I can't promise you I may have gotten a couple more gray hairs. Maybe. No, honestly, what a hell of a game, though. Hell of a game.
But it was never really out of reach for Gonzaga, though. That's what I was saying. Like at any point, they were always within striking distance, even with as well as UCLA was playing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, UCLA, I mean, everybody says it. They played a perfect game. I mean, there's not anything else that they could have done differently. As far as down the stretch, I mean, hell, their big man. The scouting report says let that guy shoot from 17 feet. And he's knocking down what he hit 2-3 of them in a row. Where he was just perfect. I mean, they were firing on all cylinders. It was a hell of a game.
Yeah, you got too close to the basket on that Suggs block. You should have stayed outside and shot from the outside.
Oh man, that Suggs back-to-back plays. Like
unreal. But he'll be a top 3 NBA draft pick, right? So
I think so. I mean, we'll see what he does here in this game, but I mean, if he just has another stellar game, I mean, he's only solidifying his spot and everything. But I mean, guy does it on both ends too. That's what's nice about him. You don't see that a whole lot from a lot of freshmen where they willing to take on that challenge both ends of the floor.
Yeah, he's a little undersized, but he's so skilled. Doesn't matter.
What is his true height? Is he?
I'm not sure.
6'4",
exactly.
or is
I just
he
know,
6'3"?
I just say that in the sense that if you look at the top, the recent NBA top draft picks, there are for the most part, there are all these guys that have big builds. You look at Patrick Williams or someone like that. They pick these guys that are 6'7" and just that have the potential to grow into great NBA. There's a good luck charm right there for the game.
Corrupting them young.
Oh, absolutely.
So let's get some thoughts on the game though. What do you guys think about the total, the spread? Do you guys think that it's one of the situations where Gonzaga covers on like one of those rare situations like last game where you virtually had to basically bet the Gonzaga at the very last second to win in that game?
Yeah, I think it's close, not that close. I don't know. I think Gonzaga's going to be up. Baylor's going to come back a little bit, then Gonzaga's going to take the lead again. I just think they're going to be quicker. Transitional offense is just bam. I see Gonzaga getting high 80s, where Baylor may not break the 80s.
Sounds like you're kind of leaning over then. But that's your.
What is it? 160?
159. Yeah, basically 159.5.
Yeah, I think Gonzaga is going to score. That's what they do.
I don't know if Baylor can afford to try to make it like a shootout. I guess that's what they're assuming. That's what the line says. So.
Yeah, that's a challenging one because I mean we know Gonzaga likes to score. We know they like to get up and down. With the UCLA game, what was it? Was it 80? What was he going into overtime? Didn't they have 81-81 or 83-83? One of the two there.
Something
so
like
I mean,
that.
I'm looking
like
at
81.
this one, and I'm thinking the defense might be a little bit stiffer.
I just feel like the plays will be a little bit tight at times, There's going to be this pressure situation. Do you think these guys are just going to be shooting lights out? It's hard to put up 80 as a team. For Gonzaga, maybe not as much, but, these defenses are, pretty decent, supposedly.
Well, even then, even if Ryan, like you're talking about, if Gonzaga puts up, say, you're talking high 80s. So even if we put 86, 85, 86, then, you're looking at Baylor to potentially just get right above it, maybe a little bit lower. We'll see. I mean, I lean more towards the under. I mean, just based off of the history, I mean, looking at it, right, in the last 5 years, not a single one's went over the 160 mark. The Virginia Tech, what was that? Sorry, Virginia, Texas Tech hit 162, but that was with 26 points in overtime.
Yeah.
And I don't. If we could see an overtime. I don't foresee that here in the championship game.
Even though Baylor has dropped like 82 on Illinois back in December, a couple of times where they've put up they've put up some big point totals, but I mean Gonzaga's defense is not like terrible.
No, it can be good when it needs to be, definitely.
So, Greg, have you looked at any player props for this game?
Only
not that I can bet them, but
yeah,
I can't either.
Yeah, but they're nice to talk about because they kind of give you sometimes a sense of what's going on in the game. I mean, the only two that I really was on, and the lines have moved a lot on them, but was Timmy's rebound prop and Butler's assist prop. So, but I mean, looking at it now, Butler's number is at it was at 3.5 with some juice, and now it's at plus 125, 4.5. I like him to get the 4 assists, and then on the rebound side for Timmy, he is at 6.5. I like him to get 7.
Ooh, I like that one.
Yeah, his was 7.5 against. I mean, they matched up better in the last round, but still, like, it's still a good number to get for it because they're going to need him to get that many rebounds for them to win the game, honestly.
Yeah, no, I definitely like that one, especially since they're a little bit more. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're going to fly around, but they are a little bit more undersized than UCLA was, right? UCLA had the big men to can kind of combat, where they got Vital, which is what's he, 6'5", 6'6"? I mean, I know he's a little bit on the heavier side. So he's
and he's aggressive, right? But you know, Timmy's going to be well positioned, and he's a big. He's a big dude too.
That or are you seeing it against UCLA? They're just going to run and they're going to keep screening until they get the mismatch that they want, right? They did that religiously down the stretch against UCLA in the last 5 minutes. Like every single time it went through Timmy, and if they didn't go through him, they were aggressively looking at him, but they overhelped, right? And so other people took advantage of it.
And both of these teams love to follow up like their teammate shots, you know what I mean, and try to get a quick rebound and a putback. Like, how often do both of these teams love to score like that, especially Gonzaga? But it'll be interesting to see who can get those. Those will be important rebounds. Those like 50-50 balls, obviously, will be really important.
This one's cut short for me. I got to go enjoy some dinner real quick before this game starts. Best of luck on everything.
Yep, same to you. Good luck tonight. Right. Don't break anything.
Yeah,
I won't.
If things go south.
So, any thoughts on any of the points props for this game? Have you looked at any of them? I know Suggs was like at 15.5. Timmy was at 21.5.
Yeah, like for me, I feel like a lot because me personally, I just think that the total's overinflated, and it might be in part for that. Like sometimes it's hard to evaluate these big games because you have so many. Sometimes it's hard to evaluate these games because there's so many people betting them and playing on the player props that you have to realize that when everyone's hammering the over on player props, that at some point as odds makers, like you do have to like move the line a little bit. You know what I mean? There has to be a correlation at some point, right? Like if you're taking all that exposure on a player props on the points. So that, like, even though I said that these championships tend to go over, I mean, not all the time in every sport, you know what I mean? Like for NFL, for instance, a lot of times the big games tend to go under, right? The primetime games,
Right.
that sort of thing. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if this game ended up going under. But like it could go. I could also see a situation where it goes lopsided, like Gonzaga or a team wins by 10. You know what I mean? And the one team cashes their team total and the other team doesn't, and the
Right.
game still scoots under, that sort of thing. But for the point props, I think, don't you feel like if I was gonna take a point prop on somebody, it'd probably be a guy that I'm just think is gonna hit a couple threes, like a Yai, or you know what I mean, like
Right.
taking Butler or Mitchell, like thinking that they're gonna be the guy that takes some threes, because you're not gonna get to 18 points without a couple threes, or in a game like this. You know what I mean? So I mean, to me, it's a guy that you see that's going to be draining some big shots. Um, but if I'm going to take one of those bets on a points, man, it's going to be very heavily weighted on who's been taking the most shots, especially recently. But also for that team over, you know what I mean? Like you got to look at the like obviously the line will be juiced towards it, but like you gotta weigh that against I'm always gonna consider how many shots I think a guy's gonna get, that sort of thing. 'Cause some guys only take like if a guy only like a Yai, for instance, I know he only takes like he hits like he'll hit 1 to 2 threes a game, but he doesn't. It's not every game that he'll take 3 threes. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
Like a guy on like Kisper will shoot. He's pretty much guaranteed to take his 4 you know what I mean, a game, that sort of thing. So it's like little things like that. You want to always know like how many shots they usually take from where. Um, but those lines can be pretty sharp. I usually like to go for like the assists and rebounds on somebody that's just slightly undervalued, like that I like a guy that they use a lot. Like Butler sets them up a lot because he has a really good threatening shot. He can beat you in a lot of ways, so he's going to get some assists. He's an excellent passer.
Yeah, I heard somebody else talking about that assist play earlier today also, and they like the over.
Yeah, he's been. I mean, I don't know exactly to what number, but he's been hitting it a lot during the tourney. So, I mean, why not ride it?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I was just asking because I know you like me and Ryke, we can't play them, so I can't, so I don't spend a
Yeah,
lot. So I don't really spend a lot of time looking at them.
Me neither.
yeah, it's nice to play. Like they're even better to play when you have a lot of consistency or fluidity in the amount of times that a team's playing. Like for
Mhm.
instance, like NFL, they play every week, and like you can kind of like benchmark like what you kind of expect from a player, like kind of seeing how they're performing and where their playing time's going and that sort of thing. Um, so it's like it's really helpful when you can like player props are the best when you can like trend them over time. Like that's where the absolute best. Their trends are way stronger than like the trends people try to follow for sports bets. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
They're way stronger. Because if you look at them over time, like you know what I mean, the consistency at
Right.
which they hit above a certain threshold or something, it's there for certain guys. It's like you just have to pick the right horses, so to speak. You know what I mean? You have to find the right horse in the race when you're trying to pick that.
Mhm. Yep, makes sense. So, Ryke, what do you think? What would you say are the keys for tonight? What couple of things are you looking for?
Well,
Early?
Baylor is going to have a great shooting night. I think that's number one if they want to run with them. Otherwise, I don't think there's too much they could do. I think they're going to be in trouble. I like Baylor. Baylor made me a lot of money this season, but I just think Gonzaga is. We've been talking about Gonzaga all season,
Yeah.
how good they are, and I think they roll here. 86-79 Baylor or Gonzaga.
86-79. That's your call.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Gonzaga's going to win, but it's going to be by a very close margin. And, to me, the key is if you watch the way Baylor's been dominant in the games that they played this tournament, like against Villanova, right? And some of the games where they really were suffocating other teams on the defensive side of the ball, they had this amazing ability to force turnovers and just be so over the ball. They just were one of these teams where they could just snatch the ball at any point. And that's the only way Baylor has, I think, a chance to really win this game by any type of margin is if they are playing like that, where they're just creating such havoc and transition with Gonzaga trying to run their offense and creating turnovers. Now, I just don't think that can happen just because you look at the guys that are going to be handling the ball for who's going to be handling the ball for Gonzaga, and Gonzaga turns the ball over a little bit, but not. They're not gonna. They're too efficient. I think they're gonna probably be able to beat them in the battle of attrition, regardless of how fast or slow the game is played. But Gonzaga always tries to get out to a lead. They don't ever like to play from behind, so they're gonna run until they have a lead, basically. And even then, they might still push the pace a lot. So
Yeah, they're a fast team. They like to move the ball down, spread it around, get it to everybody. That's all right. I don't blame them. I wouldn't either.
They like to be ahead. They're used to it,
Yeah, and basically Gonzaga can do what they've done all years. They get what they want. I mean, you look at the USC game. USC coming in had the best 2-point defense in the history of Ken Palm, and they'd only given up 24 points in the paint a game, and Gonzaga had 36 at the end of the first half of points in the paint. I mean, they just seem to be able to. They do what they want to do, and no matter what you do to stop them, that they'll just keep running their cuts and doing what they do, and sooner or later somebody gets open. So yeah, as long as they're hitting their shots, I think this could be a tough one for Baylor.
Now, who's for instance, who's how are they going to be running their defense? Gonzaga, are they going to be trying to zone up or play man against the?
My guess would be zone.
Yeah.
You talking about Gonzaga?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd assume they play zone. They defended 3 well, and I think they just move around. And they're right. Yeah.
That's good, Legion.
Whoa, I'm just a little late to the show, that's all. I was having a water fight there with the family, and I kind of lost, so I'm not going to lie. Yeah.
Good thing you can make it.
Pretty wet, so I'm not really happy right now. They all ganged up on me, It was 5-on-1, okay? It's pretty bad.
Sounds like a good time. But
it was
for the game.
Yeah, I hate getting wet, especially quite a bit. And so it wasn't but it was all right. I'll let them have this one, because next time I'll be more prepared. I'm gonna have buckets sitting on the other side.
It's warm by you, isn't it? Like a heat wave down there?
Yeah, well, today I think is 76 degrees or something like that, and then next couple of days supposed to be close to 80 and stuff. So can't complain about that.
Yeah.
And then I'll be going going to Austin, Texas next weekend, and it's supposed to be 90 something. And I was like, oh gosh, about going down there, I'm gonna fry.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really hot next couple of weeks. But yeah, who you liking for the game? Because I think you need to be the voice of reason here. We're all liking
Gonzaga.
A little too
much. Well, man, I mean, there's some good sharp action money on Gonzaga late here. It was, a little bit came in early. The public's kind of undecided. They're kind of going back and forth, it seems like, from what I've seen. Man, it's really going to come down to how this game's reffed, in my opinion. If they're going to call it, a close, tight contest here, that's going to lean Gonzaga's way, and it's going to favor them more than Baylor here. But if they're just going to let them play, I think that will favor Baylor more. And we'll see a pretty, high-scoring game, I guess, if it's like that. But I like the under. I think that's the more of a favorite play that I like, more than taking a side. As of right now, I'm trying to live bet the game myself, so I'm looking to get Baylor plus 8.5 or something, somewhere in that range.
All right, because I was trying to talk up the under a little bit too myself, actually.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like at some point in the game there will be a lull, like where either teams get tense or they'll want to run clock because they have a lead, or you know what I mean, like. There's a lot of ways that a game can go under 160.
Yep. So we'll see what happens here. I think I'll find out in like the first probably 5-6 minutes of gameplay here how the refs are calling things, and if the big guys are getting in trouble for both teams, I mean it's going to be up to the guards, and then I would lean Baylor in that situation for sure, because Baylor guards I think are a little bit better than Gonzaga guards, but yeah. It should be a really good game. I like Gonzaga to win the game, honestly. I lean Baylor to cover the spread as of right now, but I'm not gonna take any of that pregame. I'm thinking about taking that under pregame is where I'm at. So
all right, you guys keep it going. I'll be back in a second.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think you're gonna be able to get a sense of the game pretty early.
And honestly, I mean, a lot of people are on Baylor in the sense of, Gonzaga went to overtime in their last game. They might be a little tired and this and that. I throw that stuff out the window here. That ain't going to matter at all. I mean, you're going to give it your all on this stage, both teams, right? No matter how tired you may be, you really are going to, give it your all. And if Gonzaga is any bit tired, you're going to find out, I guess, in like the last 6 minutes of gameplay. It ain't going to be in the first half here at all, So, we'll definitely see how it turns out here. But, obviously got the best three-point shooting team versus one of the best field goal shooting team. And they both shoot free throws really well. Gonzaga just doesn't turn over the ball that much. And so I think that's going to be a big factor watching this one is the turnovers and things like that. So, I'll have to look at that and see how well Baylor's, taking care of the ball themselves and things. But yeah, I mean, I want Gonzaga to win because that's a home deal for me and for Bowser there, obviously, living in Washington there like I did and stuff. So I wouldn't mind them to win, but.
See some history.
Yep, I'm on Gonzaga and the under also.
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Or I'm like you, Greg. I just think at some point, if a team has a lead, they're going to slow it down. And if it is a tight ball game, if it gets down the last 5 minutes, 3 or 4 point game, I think both teams would be slowing it down and running the shot clock down. And
I mean, you basically need almost 80 points for it to have like a strong chance of going over.
Right.
In the first half, and I just don't think you're going to hit that 80. I think the teams are going to come out just a little bit, feeling out each other a little bit, that sort of thing. You tend to see sometimes in these heavyweight fights.
I think you see. That's the first part of the game. I think you will probably see some nerves, and like I said, I think Kispert needs to step up, and it'd be interesting to see how his first couple of shots look, because he had that shot at the end of overtime before Suggs hit the possession before Suggs hit that 3-pointer. He had a wide open look at a three that would have basically sealed the game, and that shot just didn't even look good. He's been struggling since. I mean, his 3-point percentage has gotten worse as the tournament's gone on. And we'll see. He needs he doesn't have to play great. He doesn't have to, score 30, but he needs to shoot better at least.
No, I do think Gonzaga has the better bench players, honestly. I think, if there are two guys off the bench there can get them, 10 points apiece here, then they'll have a slighter advantage, in my opinion. But obviously, it's all going to be on Timmy down low and see what he can do against, Vital there.
Timmy!
So we'll just see that matchup. I just don't think Timmy's going to, just punk Baylor like he has been on everybody else so far. I think he's going to have a decent game, but he's not going to have the numbers like he has been. I think this is the game he'll actually slow down a little bit, and he's going to have to look to pass a little bit more in this game. And those shooters, like Dan just said, I mean, they're going to have to be shooting, so they're going to have a better game than what they have been so far. And we'll have to find out here. But we'll know a lot in the first 6-7 minutes of this game, so.
Watch out for that Timmy pivot foot. He's got that good pivot foot.
Yeah. And he's quick too, man. He is.
He's got a good pivot. Kind of reminds me of like a Sabonis type NBA, like down low style. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's interesting.
Well, he doesn't look like he's that athletic, and then sometimes he makes these plays and I guess that, requires some athleticism right there. But
because everyone I know with that haircut drinks a lot of beer and bar.
Fraternity.
Yeah.
Definitely frat boy.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks like he looks like a guy you see at a Sunday rec game, with a 6-pack in the cooler, for breaks, Well, or it looks like the prototype typical like Will Ferrell basketball player. All right, guys, let's we'll wrap this up so you guys can get on and get ready for the game. So consensus is Gonzaga in the under.
I'm going to say under for sure. I think I lean a little bit more Baylor on the points, but I like Gonzaga to win. So
okay, good thing Bowser want to get dinner and didn't let you hear that. Didn't let you hear that part of it.
Oh, what do you say?
Oh, Gonzaga. Obviously,
he's all on. Is he on the over too, or does he like the over in that one?
If there was ever a time to like your hometown team, it's usually when they're undefeated and
when we're making history.
Yeah, making history. Yeah,
but
he
didn't really say about the total. I don't think.
I think he leaned under.
He leaned under.
There we go.
He leaned under. But
well, I'm gonna have to put the under in then, and I'm gonna buy half a point to give me that 160. I think I'll buy half.
I mean, and then you got Right Cape. He just roots for his team, no matter if they're making history or good or bad. So, all right, guys.
Next year.
Yeah. All right, guys.
That's right.
Yeah. Trust me, I'm a Michigan State fan. Yeah, mini sports. Yeah, there's always next year. All right, guys. I'll let you go. Good luck tonight. Right, Kate? You got anything
we'll
to say?
be on. I don't know. We'll do a NASCAR show either Friday night or Saturday morning. Let's catch some tickets.
That's what I was waiting for.
Yep, sounds good.
Let's cash some tickets. All right, guys. See you. Thanks a lot.
Can we